Oh, this would be brilliant. Well, so you are. So you're on the committee of the Milton Road Residents Association. So who are you?
My name's Marcus Smith.
Right, and
I'm a resident. I live at 126 Milton Road. I've got no vested interest other than trying to lobby for trees on Milton Road.
So,
for example, I got them put in.
So
I watered them every week.
So you just asked me why I don't join the Milton Road Residents Association. I told you I'm on the mailing list, but I wasn't aware it's a membership organisation. Is it a membership organisation? Do you have members?
We have a committee.
Do you have members? Straightforward question, isn't it? Do you have members?
Not as such, because that's all the only people that were in.
Well, it's an interesting. The reason I asked that question is that you wouldn't be eligible to be on the Histon Road local liaison forum or workshops because they, as far as I understand it, because they've asked FECRA to approve the resident associations which are allowed to participate there, and one of FECRA's rules is that you have to have members. As I understand it, it's in the FECRA's constitution. So can I just ask you about the representative you sent to today's meeting? How was that representative appointed? And who are they, in fact? I know that was made public, but I didn't.
So you know the answer to the question?
No, I don't know who that person is. I actually.
What, Dorcas?
Dead. So
she's the secretary of the Milton Road Residents Association.
So, did you come up with the policies that she's made decisions on this evening? Had the Milton Road Residents Association decided on, for example, the resolutions that were before the panel today? Had they actually?
They've been communicated by email. There's also there's a website.
So what process within the Residents Association?
It's by discussion, mostly by email.
Among
people put forward by committee members or anybody else that's on the mailing list.
Well, it's not, because I'm on the mailing list and I certainly haven't had any discussion about those resolutions. They were news to me when I came in today.
You can request to be put on to the Milton Road Residents Association mailing list, which is a bulk email, and it goes to everybody that's on that list.
I believe I am. So
you should have been aware of all the you should have been aware of all the discussion that's been going on. I've contributed to it. I've talked about the proposals on the lane widths of the cycling lane widths. So I made some comments on that. So you should be aware of that if you're on the mailing list, because you automatically get.
I haven't received those things, but.
Well, you should do, because if you're on the mailing list, you should be getting it, and also you've got the opportunity to comment on them. So that's how mostly it gets things that get agreed.
So we saw some votes today from Dorcas. Had you, as a committee or as a body, approved, for example, the opposition to the 4-lane road outside Oak Tree Avenue?
We discussed it.
And what about the private workshops? What was the position that Dorcas went into the meeting to represent on those? Whether they should be open to everybody or to an invited group?
Well, everyone's very confused about what it is they're actually proposing. I mean, we've seen this proposal for the matter of how many committees each one's being proposed. That didn't come from us. That was on the...
So what did the Milton Road Residents Association, what was their position on having workshops open to the public?
I understand it. There's only been 4 representatives from Milton Road on that list. That's the way it was presented to us. And the discussion this evening sounded like it was going to be much wider.
And we haven't had a decision, of course, this evening. But my question to you was...
What can I do with that? I know, we're not interested in sort of monopolising the arguments. It's just that we're equally motivated to do it, quite honestly. There's nobody else come forward to do it. So I don't see what your problem is. What I'm saying, if you are, why don't you get more involved in the Milton Road residents? Because you are a resident of Milton Road.
I do, yeah.
You should be coming to our meetings and getting some.
Milton Road, the chairman of Milton Residents Association, has been to the county council and said, for example, he doesn't want to see any of the trees lost. I disagree with that. I don't think that we should be constraining these schemes on the basis of small trees.
I agree with that. For example,
why don't you resign from the committee?
Why should I resign?
Because that is the core thing which the Milton Road Residents Association is put to the full county council, and you seem to disagree with it. How can you be a committee member?
Because I put that argument to them. I said that there are alternatives. I said I can see that upgrading the trees is probably a good idea.
But as an organisation, that hasn't been what your chairman has been saying to the county council. How can you remain a committee member?
No, that petition you're referring to.
The petition, yes, that he put.
Wasn't an official Milton Road petition. It was by some members that put forward. That petition you're referring to
The petition, yes, that he put.
wasn't an official Milton Road petition. It was by some members of put forward.
I think the thing is that we have wanted to be
I
broad enough.
I didn't sign that.
Hang on,
If you want to know, and I'm
That'll be interesting. So I'll look at what the chairman said, but I'm pretty sure he was referred to as the chairman of the Milton Road Residents
He
Association.
is.
yes, and he took it. He just presented it to
It's
the.
very misleading though if you're the chairman of an organisation speaking to the full council and actually what you're presenting is something which the organisation doesn't support.
Necessarily.
No, what he is saying
Well,
is
everyone's
that
got different
3,000
people sign
or
that
more,
petition.
3,000 plus 3,300, however many it was, signed this petition, and so he was presenting it as, on their behalf.
Because somebody had to.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to. Yeah.
However, Charles is, he doesn't want to see trees lost, but on the other hand, he's realistic enough to know
As we all are, pragmatic
I
enough
think
to
that's
realise.
right, to realise that some trees might need to go.
And we might come out with a better
put in
system.
its place
Yeah,
needs
might
to
come
be
up with-
something.
That's the reason why we come to this meeting, is to try
That hasn't come
and
across to
influence.
me when I've been listening to, well, as I've said, that petition being presented. So I will
wasn't
listen
me
to
that was saying
listen-
that.
Well, I listened again carefully.
Yeah, well, it wasn't me that was saying that. So,
For example, the Milton Road Residents Association Twitter feed has, in the past, come out in favour of a congestion charge, and then it retracted it and deleted it. How did that happen? Well, you're a very important body now. You sit on the local liaison forum and you have a seat. It's reasonable to ask these questions of a committee member, surely.
No, you're perfectly entitled to ask, but we're not perfect, is the answer.
yeah, and it's
You
very
know,
conf-
I mean, the
and
point
the
is, we're not
situation is
perfect,
very
we're not
muddied,
fab-
and
we
people
are
are making up as they go
fallible.
along.
People,
So there isn't any.
that's
It was no. The whole thing's being made
So
up.
what
The
do
whole
you think
city, the whole city deal is being made up as it goes along, so.
But are individual members of the Residents Association making it up as they go along, even when they're writing the tweets and sitting at the forum? Like, that's my concern with having these people.
No, it's a consensus of people discussing it by email. Which if you say you're on the.
I think
So
in
the
terms of-
congestion
I should listen to
congestion
my-
charge reached consensus, did it, amongst the Residents Association?
What's that?
Everybody's got an equal view on it, an equal opportunity to comment on it. So then it becomes a general consensus. Yes.
But
And then that was
as far
reversed.
Well,
isn't
I would
that what
say,
discussion's supposed to be
as
about?
far as Twitter is concerned,
And we're not on Twitter.
no.
Well, the Residents Association are, so you are
No,
the
no.
committee member of the body,
no,
which is on Twitter.
I understand
Yeah, but
what
I'm
you're
personally-
saying.
You personally might not be, but you are running an organisation
And I
which is on
agree
Twitter.
with you that we haven't got, because we are a bunch of amateurs, we're people who are working or got other interests, and the person
can't see many other-
who has the skill to
Yeah, we have a person who's a web skills, does
not
it.
just the web skills, but has the Twitter skills and the Facebook
So we're very
skills.
fortunate now.
Then,
We're only people who are willing to put their time in. I mean, we're just not as though. I mean, we're not exactly.
You're not letting me finish, Marcus.
Yes.
That person might actually get carried away and might put something up which maybe hasn't been endorsed by everybody else.
And we challenge it.
And then we challenge it. And
Which
say
of course is relatively not a problem when it's just a Twitter feed, but when it's somebody sitting up there and taking decisions, it's much more important when you've now got a member of the forum, and that's what I was really interested in. That's what I asked today, what the councillors knew about how the residents' associations worked.
What happened was at the first meeting where there was the proposal for local liaison forums for Milton Road and for Histon Road, it was put forward that the various residents' associations in those two environments would nominate representatives from, and that's how that came
what
about.
happened.
And that's how that came about.
I saw it happen.
Yeah. So that's.
So
we can only work within what was ever suggested at the time.
it's all imperfect picture.
No,
We know it's
the whole
imperfect.
system is corrupt.
Well, it's not. No, corrupt is
No,
wrong.
it's
Imperfect.
imperfect.
But it's
better than anything else. Isn't
when
it?
you hear about wicked things happening, like quotas of social housing being diverted because of I wasn't going to cite this. That's to me that's where one can't necessarily explain corruption, but it's certainly. It's a greater wrong. None of us are perfect, but
I do try and focus on proportionally.
I don't like them.
Well, I was interviewing the committee member of the Milton Road Residents Association.
Well, Anne's a committee member as well, so we both are. So we happen to be.
We happen to cohabit, but we happen to be married, but yeah.
So is that a conflict of interest? Is that a conflict of interest? Do we have to?
No, I certainly think that though, when you've got Councillor Hipkin and Ria Louise Holland, who are married in the council chamber, I've certainly suggested before that yes, they should declare that as an interest, because otherwise people coming and observing for the first time might not know. For example, if she always seconds his proposal, they might not appreciate that.
Well, we don't always agree.
No, as it happens, when we join the committee, we weren't actually married.
Well, that's got nothing to do with it.
We are now.
That's got nothing to do with it.
But I completely agree. I support residents' data. Of course, I support all kinds of community activism.
It's an act of desperation.
But at the end of the day, you're only dependent on the people.
Sorry. Yeah.
Hello. Can you tell me were you representing Milton Road Residents Association there today?
Yes, I was.
Can you tell me about the comments that were in the Cambridge Indie, which you said about 90-mile-an-hour cyclists?
I didn't say it.
So you're directly accusing our new local paper.
Sentence.
It's fabricated, is it?
No, that sentence is wrong. I'm going to get out of his way. Hang on.
Yeah.
I don't mind talking to you about it. Yeah, the rest of it, you got it spot on. But that's not right. And he had the decency to ring me up. And we had a discussion. And it's not what I said, but I think it's in his notes. Well, he was taking notes.
So did you mention 90-mile-an-hour cyclists?
Not in the words.
And
ever.
what about high-speed cycling lanes? Do you oppose high-speed cycling lanes on Milton Road?
I oppose. No, it's not that I oppose, but they are part of a priority, and you don't give separate lanes to runners. So why give separate lanes to racing cyclists? So and you and I are cyclists.
Is there a proposal, do you think, for separate lanes for racing cyclists?
No, it's an extra. I think it must be in a way. I think it must be.
And are you speaking, so presumably you've been in there at this workshop behind closed doors making this case, have you, this evening?
It doesn't work like that. You get one or two people whittering away. Today I hardly said anything because there was someone else doing all the talking, including a cyclist.
So, well you're a cyclist. So...
No, but I mean someone for the cycling campaign.
Okay, so are you representing the Milton Road Residents Association when you're at a meeting like this, rather than your own personal views about high-speed cycling?
Absolutely.
So you wouldn't bring in things about trying to save the existing trees, would you, at a meeting like this?
Making sure we have the trees, yes. And
sorry, the existing trees, because that seems to be your personal view.
It isn't my personal view.
Sorry.
You see, I mean, there again, you've given me something which is not true.
Well, I'm going from what you said to the county council.
No, I didn't. Not the existing
the
trees.
petition.
My concern.
The petition's about saving the trees.
Yes.
Does that not mean the existing trees?
No, the word's not in there.
We love these trees on the signs. Doesn't mean the existing trees.
The issue is, am I being recorded?
Yes.
And you're going to put it on the... Because the issue actually is that we don't necessarily trust them to put trees back once they've cut them down. So that's why we're so concerned not to have the present ones cut down until it's really necessary.
So you do want to keep the present trees at the moment? Is that you personally, or is that Milton Road Residents Association?
I think you'll find it's the Residents Association.
Well, I've spoken to other committee members who say that you're off-piste on this one and you're not representing the Residents Association.
Well, I don't know who you've spoken to, and therefore I have no idea who you're talking about or what you mean by off-piste. But
well, how does the Residents Association come to a view? How does it form policy?
It forms policy by the committee sitting and talking, because we can't interview everyone else.
So it's just the committee, it's not anyone else on your email list?
Like to be on the committee? No.
It's just the committee. Okay, so that's interesting, because obviously
you're really interested to hear. I mean, if you've got views which you'd like us to hear, please let us have them.
What mechanism is there? So I've joined your mailing list as at the Milton Road Residents Association.
Yeah.
You haven't informed me of this meeting. You haven't said that you will be coming to attend it as a representative.
No.
So why haven't you done that? What's entitled you to be behind those gates this evening if you haven't consulted
because they asked for 4 representatives from Milton Road, and we found...
What makes you a representative?
Because I'm the chair of the Residents Association, and that's probably about as good as you're going to get for being a representative.
Do you have any members of the Residents Association?
We have, yes, a lot who have
you have a membership, do you?
We do have a membership.
Of how many do you have?
I don't know.
And how can someone become a member?
I think you'll find you are a member if you've joined the mailing list.
Well, no, absolutely not. That's a vile and horrible thing to suggest.
What an extraordinary outburst.
Well, I'm not a member because I've signed up for a mailing list. And how dare you go in there with councillors purporting to be a representative of me?
Are you feeling all right?
Well, how dare you?
This is standing in the middle of the road
£23 million.
Shouting at me. Extraordinary man. I'm going home because this is...
Well, what are you doing in there? What are you doing? £23 million.
Bye.
Now that was Charles Nisbet, the chairman of the Milton Road Residents Association. Now the reason that I thought what he said was so unacceptable was that he is claiming that people like me have simply signed up to receive information from his organisation, are its members, and he's purporting to be a representative of more people than he really does represent. And I think that that's really serious when it comes to selected individuals who are able to take part in the deliberations before a decision is taken on something as important as the spending of £23 million worth of public money, and something which will influence how quickly thousands of people can get to and from the centre of Cambridge, and even will affect whether or not Cambridge survives and thrives over the next many decades. So it's such an important matter, and I think Mr Nisbet was completely wrong to be claiming to represent people like me. And I don't like it when people claim to represent me when they don't, particularly when I disagree with them and when I don't have any way of challenging what they're saying or having any input into shaping what they're putting forward to councillors. So that's just an explanation of why I was thought Mr Nisbet was so wrong.